The servants in this parable are ready to fix the field. Rip the weeds out today, right now. And the master says the strangest thing in Matthew 13. No. The whole sermon lives inside that no. Pastor John from the prep desk, helping you get from here to here without taking the sermon out of your hands. This week, the wheat and the weeds. Let's prep. The text in 60 seconds. A man sows good seed in his field, and while everyone sleeps, an enemy sows weeds among the wheat and slips away. When the plants come up, the weeds show up with them. The servants are stunned. Didn't you grow good seed? Where did these come from? The master is not stunned. An enemy has done this. The servants readily volunteer for weed duty, and the master refuses. Pulling the weeds would uproot the wheat because their roots are tangled together. Let both grow until the harvest. Then the reapers will sort it out, not you. And again, Jesus interprets this parable. The field is the world, the good seed is the children of the kingdom, the enemy is the devil, and the harvest is the end of the age. And the sorting belongs to the Son of Man and to his angels, not to the servants. That's the part we keep forgetting. LensLines of the week. The classic one, God's field holds wheat and weeds together until a harvest only God can sort. And a pastoral lens line, you are not the judge of the field. You are wheat being grown. And here's an edgy one. Your weeding instinct would cost God his wheat. That one stings because it's aimed at the most zealous people in the room, maybe at the preacher. Show, don't tell. An imaginative retelling. Label it as one when you use it. It happens at night, of course. The household is asleep. The lamps are out, and a figure moves along the rows the farmer planted that morning, walking the same lines, making the same sowing motion, same gesture, opposite intent. By the time anyone wakes up, there's nothing to see. The sabotage stays invisible for weeks, growing quietly under the surface until one morning a servant stops at the edge of the field and he squints. Something's wrong with the wheat. The evil in this parable doesn't announce itself. It looks like the crop. That detail will preach in any congregation that has been hurt by something that has looked for a long time like wheat. The detail you missed. The weed has a name, darnel. And here's the thing about darnel. For most of the growing season, it's visually identical to wheat. Farmers called it false wheat. You cannot tell them apart until the heads form, and by then the roots are so intertwined that pulling one tears up the other. So when the master says, let both grow, he isn't being soft on evil. He's being honest about us. We are terrible at telling wheat from weeds. And our certainty arrives long before the evidence does. Church history is a long museum of wheat that got pulled up by confident servants. The master's patience isn't negligence. It's mercy with a calendar. Sermon title, Clinic. The safe one, the wheat and the weeds. It's a label, but it's not a door. Here's a fresh one. Let both grow. 3 words, and it carries the master's voice into the title. And here's an edgy one. Stop weeding your church. Would you preach it? It names the real application before the sermon even starts, which is either the bravest thing on your sign this year or a pastoral grenade, depending on what your congregation just walked through. You know which. Comments are open. Do's and don'ts. Don't hand out weed identification badges. If your sermon helps people figure out who the weeds are, you've preached the exact move the master forbids. The servant's question, do you want us to go pull them? Is the question the parable answers with a firm no. Do preach the master's patience as good news. Somewhere in your pews is a person who's convinced they're the weed. Too compromised, too late, too tangled. The harvest hasn't come. The Lord of the harvest is still saying, let it grow. That patience is the gospel in this text. Don't let the fire in verse 2 burn the good news to ashes. Be honest about judgment, the text is, but let God be the one who carries it on God's schedule, not ours. Walk the path to Jesus. Walk, don't jump. The one telling this parable is the Son of Man who says the sorting belongs to him at the end of the age. So where is he now? In the middle of the story? In the field, among the tangle. Matthew's Jesus eats with tax collectors and Pharisees both. He gets called a friend of sinners and lets a betrayer hold the money bag until the very end. He practices the patience that he preaches. And then follow Jesus forward. The judge of the harvest goes to a cross planted in the middle of the weediest field in all of history, between two criminals, and he bears the judgment himself. The reason let both grow is mercy and not avoidance. It's that the master has already decided where the weed's verdict will land first. The patience of God isn't God ignoring evil. It's God absorbing it until the harvest. The outline. The big idea of the text, God's patience with the mixed field is not weakness. It is mercy on a schedule only God can keep. Point number 1, an enemy in the night. Evil is real, planted, and it's not God's doing. Verses 24 to 28a. Point number 2, the servant's solution. Our weeding instinct and what it would destroy. Verses 28b to 29. And then 3, the good news, the master's patience. Let both grow. Darnel, tangled roots, and our bad eyesight. And number 4, a harvest that isn't ours. Judgment is certain, and it's carried by the Son of Man, who carried it first. Live as wheat. Leave the sickle alone. Full prep pack for Matthew 13, 24 to 43 is free at SermonWise AI. The link is below in the description. Next week at the desk, a mustard seed, some hidden yeast, and a buried treasure. 5 parables, 1 sermon. We'll sort it out together. Trust the text. Love your people. The sermon is yours.